Look closely at this painting. At first glance, it looks chaotic: skeletons, fires, corpses, armies marching across a ruined landscape. But the longer you stare, the worse it becomes. Because this painting hides a terrifying message: nobody survives. Not kings, not soldiers, not priests, not even the people trying to hide. And in this world, death wins. This painting is called The Triumph of Death. It was painted around 1562 by Pieter Bruegel the Elder, and more than 450 years later, it remains one of the most disturbing paintings ever created. Not because it shows death, but because it shows a world where death has already won. Look at the details. A skeleton army marches across the land. Entire cities burn in the distance. People run in every direction. Some pray, some fight, some hide, some continue eating and drinking as if nothing is wrong. But none of it matters. Death reaches all of them. The rich, the poor, the powerful, the weak. Everyone shares the same fate, and that is what makes this painting so uncomfortable. It treats humanity the same way death does, without exceptions. To understand why Bruegel painted this nightmare, we need to understand Europe in the 16th century. Life was uncertain. War was common. Disease spread easily, and the memory of the Black Death still haunted the continent. Generations had watched entire communities disappear, families wiped out. People didn't see death as a distant possibility. They saw it constantly. Death wasn't hidden away. It was part of everyday life. Children saw it. Farmers saw it. Kings saw it, and Bruegel transformed that reality into art. But here's what makes The Triumph of Death different. Most paintings about death focus on individuals. One victim, one tragedy, one moment. Bruegel painted an entire civilization collapsing. The painting feels almost modern, like an apocalyptic film frozen in time. Everywhere you look, another story unfolds. A knight fights a skeleton. A king desperately clutches his gold. A couple continues playing music while destruction surrounds them. Each scene carries the same message: no amount of denial can save you. Death arrives anyway. Perhaps the most fascinating figure in the painting is the king. Look closely. He sits surrounded by treasure, gold, jewels, wealth accumulated over a lifetime. Yet when death finally arrives, none of it matters. A skeleton stands beside him. The king reaches toward his riches, almost instinctively, as if wealth might somehow protect him. But it cannot, and that image remains relevant today. Human beings still chase status, still chase money, still chase power, often believing these things create security. Bruegel reminds us that some things cannot be purchased. Then there are the soldiers. For centuries, warriors believed courage could overcome almost anything, but not here. In this painting, armies fall like everyone else. Their weapons become useless, their victories meaningless, their strength temporary. Bruegel strips away every illusion of control, and that is why the painting feels so relentless. Nobody gets a heroic ending. Nobody gets special treatment. Death is the only force that remains undefeated. But the most unsettling part of the painting isn't the violence. It's the people who ignore it. Look carefully. Some figures continue eating. Some continue talking. Some continue enjoying themselves, even as destruction surrounds them. At first that seems absurd. Then you realize something. That's exactly what humans do. We know death exists. We know life is temporary. Yet we continue making plans, building careers, falling in love, arguing over trivial things, pretending the inevitable is far away. The people in Bruegel's painting aren't strange. They're us. This is why The Triumph of Death has survived for centuries. Not because of its technical brilliance, not because of its historical importance, because it forces viewers to confront a truth they spend most of their lives avoiding. Every person in the painting believes they still have time, and every person is wrong. That realization feels uncomfortable, even today, especially today. Yet beneath all that noise remains the same reality Bruegel painted more than 400 years ago. Life is temporary, and strangely, that isn't the painting's darkest message. Its darkest message is that death is not the enemy. The enemy is forgetting that death exists. The people trapped inside the painting are not suffering because they will die. Every human dies. They suffer because they live as though they never will. Bruegel understood something profound. Awareness of death gives meaning to life. Without limits, nothing matters. Without endings, moments lose value. The painting isn't simply about destruction. It's about perspective. Today, millions of people stand before the triumph of death and feel the same discomfort viewers felt centuries ago. Not because they fear skeletons, not because they fear medieval plagues, because they recognize themselves. The king chasing wealth, the soldier chasing glory, the lovers lost in distraction, the people pretending everything is fine. Bruegel painted the 16th century, but somehow, he also painted us. And perhaps that's the true horror hidden inside this masterpiece, the realization that death doesn't care who we are. It never has, it never will. And in the end, the most terrifying thing in the painting isn't the army of skeletons. It's how human everyone else looks.